Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our Rhino Rack Roof Rack with the Vortex Aero Crossbars and the SX Series legs for raised rails right here on our 2022 Volkswagen Taos. So you have your Taos and you're ready for adventures. You need a little bit more space since you do have a more compact SUV, or you want to carry cool accessories like a roof basket, kayaks, bike racks on top of your roof. That's where a roof rack like this comes in handy. This creates a system that allows you to carry that extra cargo and those cool extra accessories for your different adventures. So in this video, we're going to talk about the pairing of our 49-inch long Vortex Aero Crossbars with our Rhino Rack Roof Rack for raised rails, and we're going to focus on how they work here with our vehicle. That way you can see what features you like or are looking for or need for your different type of accessories and make the best decision for you, your vehicle. The first thing we'll take a look at is overhang. So our overhang is going to be from the end of the tower to right before the end cap, about 1.75 inches. That's going to change depending on where you put this onto your roof, since you do have a little bit of a curve there. So this is helpful if you want to carry different types of accessories. So let's say you have items that clamp around your crossbar. Can you clamp them to the outside? Do you need more overhang? Do you need a lift assist? Things like that are helpful with knowing the overhang. Another measurement is going to be roof clearances, and that's two different measurements. So the first is how much space do we have from the top of the roof to the bottom of the crossbar. It sits at about 1.75 inches, which isn't that much. If you have items that clamp around your crossbars, you're going to need some extra space there, especially if those have U-bolts or wing nuts. This isn't that much, so I personally recommend trying to get T-track mounted accessories if you can, because you don't have much clearance. Next measurement is the height added to the top of our roof. So top of the roof to the top of the crossbars is going to be about 3.25 inches of height. This is going to be where your cargo sits. If you're carrying skis and snowboards, I personally recommend getting one of those carriers with taller bindings. That way they sit higher up off the ground and they're not hitting your roof. So we do have other options here at etrailer. Those have those spacers on them. So not only do you need T-track mounted accessories, try to get some good clearance there because it's a very low profile crossbar. So once you take out that end cap, you have these wind strippings on top, and then you take that out, you put your T-track accessories in, and then you actually cut it to shape around your accessory. So that is probably the only thing I don't like about the Rhino Rack Roof Rack. In fact, I recommend picking up a bunch of extras of these Vortex strips if you're planning on using those T-track mounted accessories. But on their own, they work great with helping reduce that wind drag and wind noise. Now, a low profile roof rack system is not a bad thing at all. In fact, that's what people usually look for because it looks more sleek, it looks more factory. And this has a really good weight capacity that exceeds most factory roof racks. We have 165 pounds of weight capacity. Just remember though that you are going to have to add up the weight of your accessory, the weight of your cargo, the weight of your roof rack, and make sure all three together do not exceed your actual roof weight capacity. These utilize Rhino Rack's raised rail towers, and you can see how they fit around your factory raised rails on your Taos. Perfect since you have that rubber on the outside, keeping everything nice and sealed, and great because they have that strong clamping power. So I'm going to guide you through the process of installing this roof rack, but first I want to talk about some extra things like the materials you'll need to do this properly. Everything you need to install it is included with your kit. You're going to have the special Rhino Rack Allen key or hex wrench. This is going to tighten down your towers. You're going to have the security key. This fits into your end cap and creates a locking mechanism. You can also upgrade these to metal lock cores. We have those right here at etrailer. But something not included but I recommend adding is get your own tape measure just to make sure you have everything lined up. Now let's take a look at that process. The install process is going to be super simple. In fact, Rhino Rack has what I consider the fastest install amongst the raised rail options. So you're first going to take off that end cap. You're going to grab your tower and you're just going to slide that through that track in the bottom. Make sure it's all the way open, and then just like that, you're ready to put this onto your rails on your roof. So we're going to take some measurements before we tighten everything down, and you're going to have to take that end cap off actually to tighten stuff down. So measurements is going to be for crossbar spread first. Since you have raised rails, it's really up to you how far apart you want your bars to be. Just measure center to center. I'll get mine over to about, let's say 26. That's a pretty good number. So this will push out a little bit further and then get that tightened down on both, or leveled on both sides. After you figured out your crossbar spread, before you tighten down, then check your overhang to make sure you have an equal amount on each side. So I'm going to put mine to about, I'd like to say 2 inches or 2 1/4. Double check that on each side. It's going to be a little bit different depending on where you put your crossbars. But once they're the same, you then tighten it down. Once you've tightened down that side as well as all 4 towers, you're then going to finish this off by popping your end cap in place, securing it with your included Rhino Rack security key, and that's it for the install process. Just double check that all your Vortex strips look good on top, and then you have your included strips on the bottom, keeping out that air and wind noise. You're ready to load this up and hit the road. So my personal thoughts about this roof rack system is, usually on most vehicles with raised rails, I recommend getting longer crossbars. That way you can maximize the fact that you have a roof rack system. Now on our Taos, this is the case where I actually recommend these shorter crossbars. That's because your vehicle isn't really that high up off the ground. If you had longer crossbars, you run the risk of hitting your head against them as you get into your car. So that's something that you may want to avoid. Or if you're fine with longer crossbars because you want those extra space, you can go ahead and take a look at our Rhino Rack Vortex crossbars that are, I believe, 54 inches long. Those might be a better fit for you. But as a system, this is super easy to throw onto your raised rails, super quick and easy install. It has that great weight capacity, those Vortex strips, T-track mounted accessory opportunities. So definitely a good fit for you and your different types of adventures. And that was a look right here at our Rhino Rack Roof Rack for raised rails with the Vortex Aero Crossbars that are 49 inches long, and the towers for raised rails right here on our 2022 Volkswagen Taos.